Let me ask you something. When was the last time you went to bed and your body actually felt ready? Not tired, ready. There is a difference, and if you are being honest with yourself, you probably know which one you usually experience. Most people go to bed carrying the day. The tension from hours of sitting, thinking, and pushing through. The digestion still working through dinner. The joints that have been quietly complaining since the afternoon. The mind still running the list of tomorrow. And they lie down and they wait for the body to release all of it on its own. But here is something most people have never considered. What if the night could give you more than it currently does? Not more hours, more from the hours you already have. What if, in the minutes before sleep, you gave the body something that worked with everything it was already trying to do in the dark? Something that reached the joints, the digestion, the inflammation, the circulation, and quietly, while you were completely unaware, helped the body do its overnight work more completely? Ancient Chinese physicians prescribed exactly this. Ayurvedic healers prescribed it. Arab doctors recommended it. Not in the morning, not at midday, before bed. The warmth arrives within minutes of the first sip. The stomach settles. Something in the chest loosens. And while you sleep, while you are completely unaware of it, a different kind of morning is being built. This is a special tea before bed. And the 7 nights ahead of you are going to change what sleep is actually capable of giving you. You have probably used it before. In food, in a tea when you were sick, maybe in a biscuit without a second thought. But here is what almost nobody in the modern world has been told. It was not a flavoring. It was not just something you reached for when your stomach was upset. Across ancient China, India, Persia, and Arabia, it was given a designation shared by almost no other plant in the history of medicine. The universal medicine, not the digestive herb, not the nausea remedy, the universal one. And here is what makes this specific to you, to the version of you that is reading this right now. The ancient world did not recommend it in the morning. They recommended it before bed, because what it does to the body, the way it reduces the inflammation that builds across the day, the way it supports the overnight work the body is already trying to do, the way it helps the sleep become something genuinely restorative rather than just hours passing, happens most powerfully in the stillness. When the body is quiet, what you gave it before sleep gets to work. And the people who discover this, who make this one simple cup before bed a consistent practice, describe the same thing. The sleep changes. And when the sleep changes, the mornings change. And when the mornings change, the whole quality of the day that follows is different. You deserve a body that wakes up having actually rested. That is what this is about. It has been in your kitchen for as long as you can remember. A gnarled, knobbled root that looks like it belongs in the ground, which it does. When you cut it or grate it, a smell arrives immediately. Sharp, warm, resinous, unmistakably itself. You have tasted it before. You know the sensation, the heat in the mouth that spreads immediately, purposeful and direct. The body responds to it before you have finished chewing. It is ginger. And what this root does to the body, specifically during the hours of sleep, over 7 consecutive nights, is one of the most well-supported stories in the history of natural medicine. Most people in the modern world have reduced it to a flavoring. The ancient world trusted it with something far more important. The night. If this is already shifting how you see that root in your kitchen, subscribe right now. What ginger does to the body while you sleep is not just about digestion. It reaches further than that. And there is a lot more on this channel that you are going to want to see. Here is where this story begins, and it begins with a philosopher who never ate a meal without it. Confucius ate ginger with every meal throughout his life. This was recorded by his students as one of his non-negotiable health practices. What did Confucius understand that most people in the modern world have forgotten? In traditional Chinese medicine, the system within which Confucius lived, ginger, was specifically prescribed before sleep for one reason. The body, during the day, expends its warmth through activity, thinking, and digestion. During the night, it is meant to restore it. Ginger consumed before rest supported that restoration. It kept the body's internal warmth active during the hours of stillness. And the sleep that followed, in people who practiced this, was not just longer, it was more useful. In ancient India, ginger was named Vishwabheshaj, the universal medicine. This name was given to almost nothing else in the entire Ayurvedic system. The reasoning was direct. Ginger could support almost every category of physical complaint because it addressed the foundational issue underlying most of them. It restored digestive fire. It reduced accumulated internal stagnation. It brought warmth and movement back to the parts of the body where cold and restriction had settled. And the specific evening prescription, ginger before rest, was about giving the body its best possible conditions for the work the night was about to begin. In the Quran, Surah 76 describes the drinks served in paradise, and ginger is specifically named. Of the thousands of plants in existence, this was one chosen to represent something given to the righteous as a gift. Medieval Christian monks grew ginger in their monastery gardens as one of their primary medicines. For joints, for the chest, for fever, consumed specifically before sleep to allow the body to work through it during the night. And in the Arab world, the tradition of evening ginger preparations, warm, spiced, taken in the transition between the day and sleep, was a household practice passed through generations, not as medical intervention, just as what people did, because they had watched what happened to people who did and what happened to people who did not. Here is the science, kept short, because what matters is not what the compound is called, it is what it means for the quality of your sleep and the quality of your mornings. When ginger is heated, when you steep it in warm water for your evening cup, the active compounds become more potent. The heat transforms them into a form the body can use more readily. This is why the warm tea before bed is more effective than chewing a raw piece. Those compounds work on inflammation the way a mild pain reliever does, through the same biological pathway, but gently and cumulatively rather than sharply and temporarily. What that means for your body is that the low-level stiffness and joint discomfort that has accumulated through the day is being quietly addressed while you sleep. By morning, the body has had hours of gentle anti-inflammatory support rather than just lying still in the same state it went to bed in. Ginger also supports serotonin, which the body converts into melatonin, the hormone that regulates deep sleep. What that means practically is that consistent evening ginger use helps the body produce the conditions for deeper sleep from the inside, rather than just making you tired. And it stabilizes blood sugar through the night. This matters more than most people realize. Blood sugar crashes at 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. are one of the most common causes of waking in the middle of the night. The body sending a distress signal for glucose that pulls you out of deep sleep. Ginger quietly prevents that signal from being necessary. That is the science. Simple, connected directly to why the nights get better and why the mornings start to change. What were ancient healers observing across 5,000 years of evening ginger use? They were noticing the mornings. A person who consumed ginger before sleep woke differently, not dramatically, consistently. The joints that usually announced themselves at the start of the day were quieter. The breathing was clearer. The body arrived at movement more readily, as if the night had done something useful rather than just passing. They were noticing the sleep itself. People reported falling asleep more easily, waking less through the night. The body more committed to the rest rather than moving through it lightly, and they were noticing what extended consistent use produced. People who took this every evening, across months, across seasons, seemed to carry less of the physical accumulation that most people accepted as simply what aging felt like. Their joints lasted longer. Their mornings stayed more capable. They called it keeping the body warm through the night. In modern terms, it was reducing inflammatory damage during the hours the body devoted to repair. The observation was the same. The language was different. So we decided to pay attention the way the ancient world paid attention. Not with tracking devices or sleep monitors, just with the body. And with 7 nights. Fresh ginger, a thumb-sized piece, grated into hot water, steeped for 10 minutes, with a small amount of raw honey and a squeeze of lemon, consumed 30 minutes before sleep. Every night for 7 nights. And here is what we noticed. Night 1. The preparation is immediate. The smell as the ginger steeps fills the room with something warm and purposeful. The first sip brings the heat to the mouth and throat, then travels down into the chest and stomach. Within 10 minutes, some people notice the sinuses beginning to clear. Breathing becomes slightly more open. The hands and feet, as circulation responds, begin to feel warmer than usual. The body arrives at sleep already settled, already warmer, already in the process of something useful. Day 2, morning. The first evidence, the body arriving at movement more quickly than usual. Less of the slow, stiff negotiation that usually defines the first 20 minutes of the day. Some people describe the morning feeling less like dragging themselves awake and more like returning to something they left briefly. A small change, but distinctly there. Night 3. The body has begun to expect the cup. The warmth is familiar now, received differently than on night 1. Not as something new, but as something that is already part of how the evening closes. Falling asleep comes more easily. The transition from thinking to sleeping is smoother. The mind, given something warm and settling to close the day with, releases its hold on tomorrow's list a little earlier. Day 4. Pain and stiffness are noticeably reduced. The joint that always had something to say getting out of bed is quieter. The lower back that protested sitting too long yesterday has less to protest today. The anti-inflammatory work that has been building across 4 nights of sleep is expressing itself in the morning body. The body is arriving at the day having had less damage accumulate through the night, and it shows. Night 5. Sleep itself has shifted. Many people describe night 5 as the clearest evidence that something real is happening. Not just falling asleep faster, the sleep going somewhere it has not been in a while. Deeper, more committed. The kind of sleep where the morning arrives and the body says, "That was something." The 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. waking that had become normalized, the middle of the night moment where the mind suddenly reactivates, has become quieter or absent entirely. Day 6. Energy through the day is different. Some people begin to realize the biggest change isn't happening at night anymore. It's happening during the day, more available in the afternoon. Less need for the second or third coffee to carry through. The body has been sleeping more deeply for 5 nights. The inflammatory load it is managing has been reducing, and the morning is starting the day from a fuller reserve than it had a week ago. Night 7. The preparation has become a ritual the body looks forward to. The cup, the warmth, the settling, they have become the signal that closes the day. And the sleep that follows, the deep, continuous, genuinely restorative sleep that has been building across a week, has become the new reference point. Most people describe the 7th morning with a specific recognition. This is what the body was always capable of. I just had not been giving it what it needed before the night began. The timeline tracks the days. The science names the mechanisms. But what this ritual could mean for you, for the version of you who makes this cup every evening, not just for 7 nights, but as a consistent practice, is what matters most. Because the ancient world did not do this for 7 days and stop. They did it for a lifetime. And they watched what that lifetime looked like. Sleep that actually restores you. This is the foundation of everything else on this list. When you sleep deeply, when the body enters and sustains the stages where real repair happens, you wake different. Not just more rested, more capable, more present, more like the version of yourself you intend to be rather than the version still recovering from yesterday. Many people who maintain this ritual describe, across consistent weeks, a relationship with sleep they had not had in years. The night stops being something to get through and becomes something the body genuinely uses. Mornings that belong to you. The stiffness, the slow warming up. The 30 minutes of negotiation between the body and the day. Many people describe, across weeks of consistent evening ginger, a morning body that is simply more available from the moment they wake. The joints that usually needed time to cooperate are more cooperative. The chest and sinuses that were always slightly congested in the morning are clearer. The body arrives at the day already further along. And that changes what the first hour of the morning is capable of becoming. Pain that quiets over time. This is the change people least expect and most value. The chronic low-level discomfort in the knees, the hips, the lower back, the hands, that has been the background sound of daily life for so long it has stopped being registered as a symptom. Many people describe, across consistent weeks, that background sound becoming quieter, not silent, quieter. The body is not managing as much overnight. And what it saves through the night shows up in how the day feels. Energy that does not borrow from tomorrow. When sleep is restorative and inflammation is lower, energy changes character. It is not borrowed from caffeine, or manufactured from sugar. It is generated by a body that has actually done its repair work and is starting from a more complete state. Many people describe, over weeks of this practice, an afternoon that feels different. An end of the day that arrives with something still in it, a resilience that was not there before. The kind that means one difficult day does not destroy the 3 that follow. A body that recovers faster from a demanding week, from physical exertion. Many people describe, over months of consistent evening ginger, a sense that they return to baseline more quickly than they used to. The body has been receiving anti-inflammatory support every night. It is not starting each day from the same depleted position. Recovery has become faster because the nightly work has become more complete. Focus and mental clarity in the mornings. The connection between how you sleep and how you think is direct and measurable. When the sleep is deeper, the brain has done more of its own overnight maintenance. When inflammation is lower, the neural environment is cleaner. Many people describe, across weeks of this practice, a quality of morning mental clarity that was not there before. Less fog, more access to the thinking they needed. The first hour of the day arriving sharper and more usable than it had been. The mood that follows a body at ease. This is the quietest change and often the most significant. The irritability, the low threshold, the disproportionate responses to small frustrations. These are not personality. They are the sounds of a body in chronic discomfort and chronic under-restoration. Many people describe, across consistent weeks of better sleep and reduced physical burden, a quality of emotional steadiness they had not expected from a cup of ginger. Not happiness, steadiness. The space between what happens and how they respond growing slightly wider. A floor that has been raised. Vitality, what the ancient world was actually prescribing, the universal medicine. That name was not given to ginger because it cured specific diseases. It was given because people who used it consistently, who made it part of the daily rhythm of rest and restoration, lived and functioned differently from those who did not. More capable as the years pass. More resilient across difficult seasons. More present in the life they were living. That is what the ancient world was prescribing. Not a compound, not a 7-day experiment, a ritual, a nightly act of giving the body what it needs before the work of the night begins. Your body is capable of more repair and restoration than most people realize. The evening cup is one of the simplest ways to let it prove that. The basic preparation: peel and grate a thumb-sized piece of fresh ginger, roughly 1 to 2 teaspoons. Place in a mug. Pour hot water over it at around 85 degrees, just off the boil. Cover with a small plate or lid to keep the aromatic compounds from escaping with the steam. Steep for 8 to 10 minutes. Strain. Add a small amount of raw honey and a squeeze of fresh lemon. Consume 30 minutes before sleep. For a stronger preparation, simmer the grated ginger in water for 15 minutes rather than steeping. The extended heat converts the active compounds into their more potent form. Stronger in flavor and in effect. The Ayurvedic combination. Add a pinch of black pepper alongside the ginger, which increases the absorption of almost everything it is combined with. A small piece of cinnamon in the same cup adds blood sugar stabilizing support. This combination, ginger, black pepper, cinnamon, honey, lemon, appears in variations across Ayurvedic, Persian, and Arab traditional evening preparations. It is not accidental. It is the result of generations of observing what worked best. Ground ginger as an alternative. Half a teaspoon of ground ginger in hot water works when fresh is unavailable. Ground ginger contains more of the more potent converted form and in some ways works as effectively. Slightly less fragrant and complex, but fully functional. Timing: 30 minutes before sleep. This window allows the compounds to move through the stomach before the body is fully horizontal. The warming effect will be well established by the time you lie down. Ginger in the amounts described is safe for most people. People on blood-thinning medication should be aware that ginger has mild anticoagulant properties. Check with a healthcare provider if you are on such medication. People with active reflux or stomach ulcers should start with a small amount and observe the body's response. Some find it helpful, others find it aggravates symptoms. Pregnant women should consult a healthcare provider before making this a nightly practice. Ginger is commonly used for morning sickness and is generally safe in culinary amounts, but a concentrated nightly preparation warrants a conversation. Start with 1 cup. Start with half the ginger. Let the body adjust across the first few nights before increasing. A practice maintained across months will always produce more than a maximum dose maintained for 3 days. Here is what stays with me about ginger before bed. The ancient world understood something about the night that most of us have forgotten. The night is not just the absence of the day. It is when the body does its most important work, the repair, the restoration, the clearing of what the day left behind and the building of what the next day will need. And what you give the body in the minutes before that work begins, whether you give it something or nothing, matters more than most people have been told. Confucius ate ginger every day throughout a long life. The physicians of ancient India called it the universal medicine. The Arab healers who built the spiced morning preparations of Yemen understood that what went into the body before rest determined what came out of the night. They were not being poetic, they were being precise. A body given this specific support before sleep does more with the night than one that was not. The universal medicine, used before the universal restoration. That is the practice. And it fits in a mug. So here is what I want you to do. Tonight, before you go to bed, make the cup. Fresh ginger, hot water, honey, lemon, 10 minutes to steep, 30 minutes before sleep. Do it for 7 nights. And then, and this is the part I genuinely want from you, come back to this channel and tell me what changed, not just subscribe. Come back. Leave a comment below this video. Tell me which night was the one where the sleep shifted. Tell me whether it was the morning body, the joints, the focus, or something in the evenings themselves that felt different. Because this channel exists to bring back what has been forgotten. And every person who tries it and returns to tell us what they noticed, you are continuing the observation that began 5,000 years ago. Try it tonight. Come back and tell us what 7 nights showed you. And if it changed something, share it. Someone in your life is lying awake right now, carrying the day into sleep, wondering why they always wake up feeling like the night gave them nothing. Tell them about the cup. We will see you next time with something else that has been waiting in your kitchen for you to remember what it is for.